Let's start with the introduction and set the stage for our discussion on Squid Game Season 2. Our expert guest has been following the series closely. Let's start with a brief overview. How would you describe the global impact of Squid Game since its first season, and what were some of the key expectations from fans and critics heading into Season 2?
The global impact of Squid Game since its first season has been nothing short of phenomenal. The show shattered Netflix streaming records and became the most popular Netflix series ever, achieving this feat in just 12 days. This South Korean dystopian survival thriller captured the hearts and imaginations of audiences worldwide, not just for its gripping storyline and intense gameplay, but also for its profound social commentary on class inequality, debt, and the human condition. The series catapulted its cast into global stardom and garnered numerous awards, further solidifying its influence. Heading into Season 2, fans and critics had high expectations. There was a lot of anticipation around how the story would evolve, especially given the immense pressure to outdo the first season. Fans were eager to see the return of familiar faces, such as Gi-hun, the frontman, and possibly other characters from the first season. The creator, Hwang Dong-hyuk, hinted at exploring new themes, including a deeper dive into the story of the frontman and the role of the police, which added to the excitement. Additionally, there was curiosity about how Gi-hun's character would develop after his win in the first season. The trailer released in early December 2024 showed a hardened Gi-hun, suggesting a significant transformation from victim to possibly a more proactive role, which piqued the interest of many fans. Overall, the expectations were high for more intense games, deeper character development, and continued social commentary, all while maintaining the suspense and emotional depth that made the first season so compelling.
Given the high expectations and the significant impact of the first season, how did the success of Season 1 influence the creation and production of Season 2? And were there any notable changes in the creative process or production that stood out?
The success of the first season of Squid Game had a profound impact on the creation and production of Season 2. Given the immense popularity and the pressure to deliver something even better, the creative team had to be very meticulous in their approach. Firstly, Hwang Dong-hyuk, the creator, writer, and director, was well aware of the global attention and the high expectations. He mentioned that there was a lot of pressure to make Season 2 even more enjoyable for the global audience, and this drove the team to refine their script and storytelling. One notable change was the decision to film the second and third seasons back-to-back. This approach allowed for a more cohesive narrative arc and better planning for the overall story trajectory. Hwang Dong-hyuk also indicated that he would likely need a staff of writers and directors to help him, which is a departure from the more solo effort in the first season. In terms of creative process, Hwang Dong-hyuk delved deeper into themes that were touched upon in the first season, such as the role of the police and the story of the frontman. This added a new layer of complexity to the narrative, making it more engaging and thought-provoking. Additionally, the production saw the return of key cast members, including Lee Jung-jae as Gi-hun, along with the introduction of new characters, which helped in maintaining the freshness and excitement of the series. The inclusion of new games and challenges, such as the six-legged pentathlon consisting of children's games, also kept the suspense and tension high. Overall, the success of Season 1 pushed the creators to be more innovative, detailed, and ambitious in their approach to Season 2, ensuring that the series continued to captivate audiences worldwide.
Let's dive into the plot and character development of Season 2. How does Gi-hun's character evolve in this season, especially given his transformation from a victim to a more proactive role? And what impact does this have on the overall storyline?
Gi-hun's character evolution in Season 2 of Squid Game is indeed one of the most compelling aspects of the new season. After winning the first season and initially planning to leave for the United States, Gi-hun returns with a new resolution, driven by a desire for revenge and a need to uncover the truth behind the sinister games. This transformation from a victim to a more proactive role significantly impacts the overall storyline. Gi-hun is no longer just a participant trying to survive. He is now a key player determined to dismantle the system from within. This shift adds a layer of complexity to his character as he navigates the moral ambiguities of his actions and confronts the darker aspects of his own nature. The return of Gi-hun with this new agenda sets off a chain of events that introduces new characters and deepens the mystery surrounding the games. His proactive role also brings him into direct conflict with the frontman and other figures within the organization, creating tense and suspenseful moments throughout the season. Moreover, Gi-hun's evolution influences the dynamics among other characters, particularly those who return from the first season. The interactions between Gi-hun and characters like the frontman become more intense and layered, adding to the emotional depth of the story. This transformation not only keeps the audience engaged, but also raises questions about the nature of revenge, justice, and the human condition, all of which are central themes in Squid Game.
Let's delve into the new characters introduced in Season 2. How do characters like Thanos and Myung-gi fit into the narrative, and do they add a new layer of depth to the story, or do they feel more like archetypes compared to the characters from the first season?
The introduction of new characters in Season 2 of Squid Game, such as Thanos and Myung-gi, is a significant aspect of the narrative. These characters add a fresh layer of depth to the story, although they also serve to highlight the ongoing themes and tensions that defined the first season. Thanos and Myung-gi, for instance, are woven into the plot in a way that amplifies the conflict and suspense. Thanos, as an aggressive and formidable player, creates immediate tension and sets the stage for violent confrontations, which is a hallmark of the series. Myung-gi, on the other hand, brings a personal element to the story, particularly with his connection to player 2-2, Kim Jun-hee, who is his pregnant ex-girlfriend. This personal storyline adds an emotional layer, making the characters more relatable and their fates more poignant. While these characters may feel somewhat archetypal at first glance, their interactions and the roles they play in the games and the overall plot are well integrated into the narrative. They are not just mere additions, but are crucial in advancing the story and exploring the themes of survival, human nature, and the moral dilemmas that the players face. The dynamic between these new characters and the returning ones, such as Gi-hun and the frontman, is also noteworthy. It introduces new conflicts and alliances that keep the audience engaged and invested in the story. Overall, the new characters in Season 2 enhance the complexity and emotional depth of the series, ensuring that the narrative remains compelling and thought-provoking.
Let's move on to the critical reception of Season 2. What were some of the key praises and criticisms from critics, and do you think the season successfully addressed some of the concerns raised about the first season?
The critical reception of Squid Game Season 2 has been quite mixed, but overall, it has garnered significant praise for several aspects. One of the key praises from critics is the deeper character development, particularly with Gi-hun's transformation from a victim to a more proactive and complex character. Critics have appreciated how this shift adds layers to the story, exploring themes of revenge, justice, and the human condition more profoundly. The introduction of new characters, such as Thanos and Myung-gi, has also been well received for adding fresh dynamics and emotional depth to the narrative. The new games and challenges have been praised for maintaining the high level of suspense and tension that defined the first season. However, some criticisms have centered around the pacing and the handling of certain plot threads. A few critics felt that some of the new characters, while interesting, did not receive the same level of development as those in the first season. There were also some concerns about the balance between action and emotional depth, with a few episodes feeling slightly rushed or unevenly paced. Despite these criticisms, it seems that Season 2 has successfully addressed some of the concerns raised about the first season. For instance, the deeper exploration of the frontman's character and the role of the police has provided more context and complexity to the overall narrative. The show's continued focus on social commentary, particularly on class inequality and the exploitation of the vulnerable, has also been praised for its thought-provoking nature. Overall, while Season 2 may not have been perfect, It has managed to maintain the essence of what made Squid Game so compelling in the first place, and it has taken significant steps to evolve the story and characters in meaningful ways.
Let's delve into the themes and social commentary of Season 2. How does the show continue or diverge from the themes of desperation, capitalism, and human nature that were so prominent in the first season, and do you think it remains effective in its social commentary?
The themes of desperation, capitalism, and human nature that were so pivotal in the first season of Squid Game continue to be deeply embedded in Season 2, but with some notable evolutions. Desperation, for instance, is still a driving force, but it's now more nuanced. Gi-hun's transformation from a desperate participant to a driven avenger adds a new layer to this theme. His actions are no longer solely motivated by survival, but by a desire for justice and revenge, which complicates the narrative and raises questions about the morality of his actions. Capitalism and class inequality remain central themes, with the show delving deeper into the systemic issues that lead people to participate in these deadly games. The introduction of new characters and plot lines further highlights the exploitation of the vulnerable by those in power. For example, the new games and challenges serve as metaphors for the ways in which capitalist systems can reduce individuals to mere commodities. The exploration of human nature is also more profound in Season 2. The show continues to probe the depths of human behavior under extreme conditions, but now it also examines the psychological and emotional toll of such experiences. The character development, particularly with Gi-hun and the frontman, provides a richer understanding of how individuals can be both victims and perpetrators in a system that dehumanizes them. Overall, the social commentary in Season 2 remains effective because it builds upon the foundations laid in the first season while introducing new perspectives and complexities. The show's ability to balance action, suspense, and emotional depth with thought-provoking themes ensures that it continues to resonate with audiences and spark important discussions about the world we live in.
Let's move on to the new elements in games introduced in Season 2. Can you describe some of the new games and how they reflect the broader themes of the show? And do you think they add to the tension and excitement, or do they feel like gimmicks?
The new games introduced in Season 2 of Squid Game are indeed a highlight, and they effectively reflect the broader themes of the show while maintaining the high level of tension and excitement. One of the notable new games is the six-legged pentathlon, which consists of a series of children's games but with a deadly twist. This game serves as a metaphor for the ways in which societal pressures and expectations can turn innocent activities into life-or-death situations. It highlights the theme of desperation, where participants are forced to compete in games that are both familiar and terrifying, underscoring the exploitation of the vulnerable by those in power. Another game that stands out is the Bread and Lottery Tickets Challenge, which involves a complex strategy and teamwork. This game delves into the theme of human nature, showing how individuals can form alliances and make sacrifices for the greater good, but also how these alliances can quickly turn sour when survival is at stake. These new games do not feel like gimmicks. Instead, they are well integrated into the narrative and add to the overall tension and excitement. They maintain the suspenseful atmosphere that defined the first season while exploring the themes more deeply. The games are designed to test the players' physical and mental limits, making the audience question what they would do in such extreme circumstances. Overall, the new games in Season 2 enhance the show's ability to balance action, suspense, and emotional depth, ensuring that the narrative remains compelling and thought-provoking. They are a crucial part of what makes Squid Game so engaging and effective in its social commentary.
Given the intricate and challenging nature of the new games, especially the six-legged pentathlon, how did the filming process for these games impact the cast and crew, and were there any notable challenges or health issues that arose during production?
The filming process for the new games in Season 2 of Squid Game, particularly the six-legged pentathlon, was undoubtedly complex and challenging for both the cast and crew. Given the physical and emotional demands of these games, the production team had to be extremely meticulous in their planning and execution. For the cast, the physical toll was significant. The games required a high level of physical fitness and endurance, and the actors had to undergo rigorous training to prepare for the intense scenes. The emotional strain was also considerable, as the actors had to delve into the psychological depths of their characters, often portraying extreme fear, desperation, and trauma. From a production standpoint, the logistics of filming these games were intricate. The six-legged pentathlon, for example, involved coordinating multiple games simultaneously, each with its own set of rules and challenges. This required precise timing, careful choreography, and a lot of rehearsal to ensure that the scenes were both realistic and suspenseful. There were also notable challenges and health issues that arose during production. The intense physical demands led to injuries among some cast members, and the emotional toll resulted in some actors needing additional support and counseling to manage the stress of portraying such traumatic roles. Despite these challenges, the cast and crew's dedication and hard work paid off, resulting in a season that is both visually stunning and emotionally gripping. The attention to detail and the commitment to authenticity in the filming process are evident in the final product, making the new games in Season 2 a compelling and intense addition to the series.
Let's move on to the future of Squid Game. Given that a third and final season has been confirmed and was filmed back-to-back with Season 2, what can we expect from this final installment? And how does Season 2 set the stage for the conclusion of the series?
The future of Squid Game is certainly intriguing, especially with the confirmation of a third and final season. Given that the second and third seasons were filmed back-to-back, we can expect a cohesive and well-planned narrative arc that ties everything together. Season 2 sets the stage for the conclusion of the series by introducing several key plot points and character developments that will likely be resolved in the final season. Gi-hoon's transformation into a more proactive and vengeful character, for instance, will probably reach its climax in the third season. The deeper exploration of the frontman's character and the role of the police, which began in Season 2, will likely continue and provide crucial answers to the mysteries surrounding the games. The new characters introduced in Season 2, such as Thanos and Myung-gi, will also play significant roles in the final season, possibly leading to some dramatic confrontations and resolutions. The themes of desperation, capitalism, and human nature will continue to be central, but we can expect them to be wrapped up in a way that provides closure and satisfaction for the audience. In terms of specific expectations, we might see a more intense and personal showdown between Gi-hun and the masterminds behind the games. The stakes will be higher, and the emotional depth will be even more profound as characters face their ultimate challenges. The final season will likely be a culmination of all the suspense, action, and emotional depth that has defined Squid Game from the beginning, ensuring a satisfying conclusion to this gripping series.
Given the intricate plot and character developments in Season 2, how do you think the show's reliance on tropes and archetypes, such as the aggressive player like Thanos, affects the overall narrative and the audience's engagement? Do these elements enhance the story or feel like familiar patterns?
The use of tropes and archetypes in Squid Game Season 2, such as the aggressive player like Thanos, is a nuanced aspect of the narrative. On one hand, these characters serve to enhance the story by introducing familiar yet compelling elements that audiences can quickly grasp and engage with. Thanos, for example, as an aggressive and formidable player, creates immediate tension and sets the stage for violent confrontations, which is a hallmark of the series. However, it's also important to note that relying too heavily on these tropes can make the characters feel somewhat predictable or archetypal. Yet, in the case of Squid Game, the show manages to balance these elements effectively. The new characters, despite fitting into certain archetypes, are well integrated into the narrative and add fresh dynamics to the story. The key to this balance lies in how these characters interact with the returning ones and how their stories are woven into the overall plot. For instance, Thanos' aggressive nature is not just a one-dimensional trait. It is part of a larger web of motivations and conflicts that drive the story forward. This integration ensures that the audience remains engaged and invested in the characters' fates, even if they recognize the tropes. Overall, the use of tropes and archetypes in Squid Game Season 2 enhances the narrative by providing a foundation for character development and plot progression, while avoiding the pitfall of feeling too formulaic. The show's ability to make these characters feel both familiar and unique is a testament to its strong storytelling and character development.
Thank you for tuning in to Chatbotcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it engaging. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update, and visit us at www.chatbotcasts.com to explore more exciting episodes. See you next time, and happy listening.